Hey everyone, welcome to another top 10 list. This is the top 10 highest prices realized for a star note. That's this list. I want to thank my buddy Ontario 100 for giving me this suggestion. He suggested I should do a top 10 star notes. And the first time that he said that, I thought to myself, well, virtually every note has a star note, so that wouldn't really be much of a list because you just have all of the stars. But as I dove into it, I started to discover all kinds of neat things. I ended up coming up with 3 separate lists. This list here will be the first of them. It's the top 10 highest prices at auction for star notes. I'm also going to do a list of the top 10 highest priced notes in general for stars, and then I'm going to do the top 10 notes that you can find in circulation. So the top 10 star notes that you can find in circulation. Those will be my next few lists. This one though, thank you Ontario 100 for putting this in my head as far as digging into star notes. So let's see what I come up with. I do want to say that I have very few star notes that qualify under any of these lists. So I've got the regular version notes, and you'll see what the note would look like, and you just have to put the star on it, so to speak. All right, so number 10. Number 10 on my list, this is a 1918 Flying Eagle. 1918 Flying Eagle, Federal Reserve, or the FR number is 732 with a star on it. Now, the Flying Eagle from 1918 regularly prices out at about $165, but if you have a star note, you could get about $1,000 for it, which is pretty impressive. However, if you have the St. Louis note, this one here you can see is from New York, but if you have the St. Louis note, and if you have the signatures on the top here of Elliott and Burke, like this, and of course if it was a star, this star note, well, there's only one of those in existence. And the last time that was put up for auction, it sold for $8,813. And that was only in a 12 grade. So yeah, star notes can be worth quite a bit. That's number 10 on my list. Number 9. This is as close as I've got for this particular one. This is a 1922 $20 bill. It's the same format as the 1906 $20 gold certificate. The $20 gold certificate, if you were to find one of these are worth about $275. Now, if you happen to catch one that's got a star, those are a little bit more. Those go for about $2,000. However, if you check out the signatures and you find one that's got Vernon and McClung on it, there's only 2 of those in existence. And even at a 15, that's sold at auction for $10,575. So that's number 9 on my list. Number 8. We're going with a 1914 Blue Seal Federal Reserve note. This is actually a real $10 Federal Reserve note from the 1914 series. However, this particular one, Federal Reserve note, if you were to find the FR 907B note, now when it says 907B, what they're referring to is these letters here. See how there's a large TB and then up here there's a small TB? On the A note, it's going to look like this, and on the B note, only the top right is large and all the rest of them are small. So if you find a 907B from 1914, those go for about $85. If it's a star note, you're talking about $500. But if you've got the B, where all of these are small, there's only 2 of those known, and those have sold at auction for $12,925. Granted, that was a Gem 65, but still $12,925 for this version of the star note. Number 7. Number 7 would be from the same series, but this one would be the $5 bill. $5 Blue Seal Federal Reserve note, FR 853. Now, these usually go for about $60, $65. If you find a star, they can be anywhere from $200 to $1,000. But you can see how this one's Atlanta. If you find one from Philadelphia that has the signatures of Burke and Glass. There's only one of those known in existence. And those sell for roughly, well, at auction, sold for $15,640. And that was at a 15 as far as the grade went. So yeah, 15 grand if you come across the star note from the 1914 $5 Philadelphia series. Next up, from 1899, I have an 1899 Black Eagle. Now, if you have an 1899 Black Eagle, this one is 229A. These start off at about $110. If you happen to find a star note, it's not that much more. It's about $200 total. But if you find one with the signatures of Vernon and McClung, and I just want to zoom in here on the date. You can see here it's got the seal, or the serial series, I should say, is going to be underneath the serial number. If you find one that has the date to the right of the serial number, that would be the A series, 229A as far as the reserve number. And finding one of those, there's only 2 of those known. And those stars sold at auction for $26,438. Those were choice uncirculated 64s, but yeah, $26,000 on that particular star note. Only 2 of those known. Number 5. Number 5 is a 1918 $2 Federal Reserve note. $2 Federal Reserve bank note. This is the Battleship note. That's the Battleship. The Battleship note, this particular one, FR776 is the number on this one. Regularly, these sell for about $350. If you find a star note, you're talking about $1,250. However, if you find one from Dallas with a star, there are only 2 of those known. In Gem 65, sold at auction for $28,200. So yeah, $28,200 for the Dallas Star Note $2 Federal Reserve Battleship. Number 4. This is from 1929. 1929. It's a $100 Federal Reserve banknote. This actually is, too. This is a real one. It's just not a star. If you have the 1929 Federal Reserve banknote with a star, the regular ones sell for $135. If it's got a star, then you're talking somewhere between about $325 to $1,700. So yeah, regular is $135. Make sure I got that right. Regular is $135. The star is anywhere from $325 to $1,700. $1,700. Wow. Anyway. If you find the one, this one's from Chicago. If yours is from Richmond, Virginia, and it has a star, well, in Gem 65, that sold at auction for $58,750. So yeah, that's a monster if you stumble across one of those. Number 3. This is a 1908 silver certificate known as the Tombstone Note. I've talked about the Tombstone Note in the past. 1908 Tombstone, number 303, as far as the Freiburg number goes. These will start off about $375. However, if you happen to snag one of the few that have a star, there are only 2 known that have the Vernon and McClung signature combinations. So down here it would say Vernon and McClung. If you had a Vernon McClung star note, that would be one of 2. There's only 2 of them that are known. Those sold at auction for $64,625. And that was only in very good 10 as far as the grade goes. Number 2 on the list. I put my regular $1,000 bill in my safety deposit box, but I've got my replica here. This is a 1928 $1,000 Federal Reserve note. The Federal Reserve note, number 2210B, is usually goes for about $2,500 if it's just a regular note. However, if you have the B version, which would be New York, you can see this one here has an A for, this is Boston on there. A is Boston, B is New York. So if you have the New York Star Note, one of those sold at auction in a Choice 63 grade for $76,375. So yeah, if you happen to spot one of those and it's priced wrong, you can probably make some money. And last but not least on this list, from 1923, it's the poker chip, the $10 legal tender poker chip note, called the poker chip, of course, because of those two big old poker chips on the back. This is FR number 123, so that's an easy one to remember. This note regularly sells for at least $1,500 or so, but there are 3 of these that are stars. The 3 star notes on the poker chips, these have sold at auction, even in a fine 12, in a 12, for $92,000. $92,000 if you happen to stumble across a poker chip star note, because they just are in demand and there aren't very many of them to be had. So that was the highest price star note, highest price realized in an auction for a star note. I know I didn't have any of the star notes, but based on those prices, I'm sure you can understand why. At least this way you'll be able to know what to look for if you happen to stumble across some of these. All right, guys, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much, Ontario 100, for giving me the idea and spurring me on to do a little more research into stars. I was amazed at some of the stuff that I saw here. And like I said, I got 2 other lists coming. I've got regular prices for star notes, and I've got the top 10 star notes you can find in circulation that are worth big money. Guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again next week.